How long were you two dating?
We were dating for about 8 months. For the first 6, it was pretty great. We were giving each other the emotional support that you would typically see in a relationship. But for the last 2, it had been getting a lot more distant. He had been very emotionally unavailable and wouldn't give me the time of day.
Okay, so why don't you dump him like the rest of us would?
Because I really wanted to rekindle our relationship.
Okay. All right. So what happens? Tell me what happens in this case.
So I'd try to get him to spend time with me. I'd say, hey, let's go do something like this. But it's always, oh, I got to go to work. I got this to do some other time.
She wanted way too much.
She what?
Wanted way too much.
What was way too much? What did she want?
I mean, she wanted expensive dinners every night. I'm talking $200 steaks, wine, but every night. I mean, I get if it's once in a while, but every night?
Were you really demanding that every night, or were you demanding emotional support?
I was mostly demanding emotional support, but there are times...
But a little bit of steak?
A little bit of steak.
I'll take some steak with my emotional support.
Exactly.
Okay. Why do you think he feels like it was an every night demand?
To me, I feel like he thinks it's an every night demand because I'd always want to go do something, and he may not be always willing to spend money, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
So when you want to go to a nice place, do you offer to pay?
No.
Okay, that came out rather succinctly. All right. We can't have our cake and eat it too.
That's true.
All right.
You're right.
I'm just saying. Tell me about the raffle.
So he entered into a raffle where there was a $5,000 winning.
Okay.
And he told me over text that if he won, he would give me half of that.
Okay. So, do you have the text?
I do, yes.
Oh, I love it. All right. Let's see.
Thank you.
Let us see what we got here. When are you going to take me out to that fancy restaurant again? It's been months since we've done something nice. His answer is that $100 dinner we had last week wasn't good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you put a sad face and say, I need more from you. More what? More steak? More expensive food?
More emotional support.
Okay, wow. It sounds like you're asking for exactly what it sounds like you're asking for. I mean, I don't know what you think this looks like. I don't think that's code for emotional support. And if you think it's code for emotional support, no wonder you're not getting it. Okay? Because that's not emotional support. That's take me to a fancy place because your $100 dinner wasn't good enough for me. That's what that is. I need more from you. To which you respond, wow, LOL. How about if I win the raffle next week at the auction, you can have half? Answer, haha. Okay. Why did you write that?
Well, at the time, I didn't think I was going to actually win it.
So it was just an empty promise, Judge.
Seriously. Okay. But you know, at the time,
so did you mean it when you said it?
No, it was a joke.
Okay.
And seen by her response, she said haha afterwards.
Okay. So did you not see this in her in those first 6 months that she wanted really nice dinners a lot?
I mean, I did that. I gave her flowers, I gave her chocolates, I took her out for dinner. But I feel like in a true relationship, it's not supposed to be about material things and things you buy for one another. I think it's about the love you have for one another. But get this, after the 6 months, when she said I wasn't doing enough and it started getting more and more, she starts talking to her coworker about my dirty laundry.
All your private thoughts and your private problems with her.
Yeah, and as a man, that tears my ego down.
Do you think she liked the guy?
Oh, she liked the guy. It wasn't just a friendship. Well, ask her.
Oh, did you like the guy?
As a friend, yes.
Okay. According to him, you were having an emotional affair.
Mm-hmm.
He claims it's an emotional affair. I never once cheated on him.
Okay.
Hey, but we all know the relationship. When I'm done with, she's going to go straight to that guy.
You're a cynic. You are such a cynic. You don't know. You don't know.
That's usually how it goes down.
Well, then be more supportive.
So they've been together for 7 months. And what it sounds like, she wanted to go out every time. And not just to any place, right? But to something fancy and expensive. And we all know how steaks are. It's never cheap every time you go to a good place. In judging by the text, I did not believe for a second she was looking for emotional support. It truly sounds like she was after his money. And maybe what she needs is to find a sugar daddy who is able to fulfill her appetite. I don't believe that this gentleman can possibly fulfill her appetite for steaks and expensive wine. So I don't believe they're a good match for each other. And if he had the feeling that she's only after the money, why wouldn't he break up with her before? Good question. Let's go back.
But did she ever say that to you? Did she say, I want your time, I want your attention?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she wanted my attention, and that's what we had an argument around 2 months before our relationship ended. And that's when she started talking to Mason, her coworker. But, you know, I started giving up more time.
Are you dating Mason now?
I do not know.
Okay. Because you guys broke up, right?
Yeah,
We
we're no
broke
longer
up, yes.
together.
Yeah,
I'd
no, I
never be
usually
with her
find that by
again.
the time you've come to court, you've probably broken up. That's usually what I see. So you won.
Won in what sense, though? I mean...
You won the raffle, dude.
Yeah, the raffle. Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
let's talk about the raffle. So you make this empty promise, and then you go to the event. What was this? It was a high school raffle?
Yeah, I was an alumni at my school.
Okay.
You know, we had, you know, there's different things you could buy, and then we had a lottery, and, you know, there's
And you're with him at this thing or no?
Yes, I was with him at the event, and he was just giving me a cold shoulder for pretty much the whole night. I didn't know what was going on.
It got especially chilly after the win?
It wasn't just the
suppose so,
win.
yes.
It wasn't just the win. Why were you giving her a cold shoulder?
Well, after knowing about her talking with Mason and just the constant need of money throughout our whole relationship, I was already planning on breaking things off with her.
Why didn't you break things off with her before the raffle?
Well, I didn't know I was going to win.
Oh my God, did you really just say that?
He did.
Thank you, Lord. Are you serious? You're literally admitting that the only reason you broke up with her is because you don't want to pay her the half of the raffle money. Well, I didn't know I was going to win. That's why I didn't break up with her. Once I won, then I had to break up with her. I mean, do you hear yourself?
I mean, it's not that black and white.
Oh, it sounds that black and white.
It was I cut it off because I didn't give her the money. And so she immediately said, I want that half of the money.
But you were giving her a cold shoulder before you won the raffle.
Yeah.
Honest to God. So you win, and how is the win announced? Is it like, and our winner is, like at the event, like that?
Yeah, they had
And
my
then
name
did
on
you
it.
jump up and down?
I mean, I wasn't super
And then did she
excited.
jump up and down?
I was
She
excited.
definitely jumped up and down.
Okay.
I will admit, I was excited.
Okay, and did you tell everybody at the table, that's half mine? Ha ha ha. Like, how did that work
She
out?
did.
Did you?
Yes.
Does he leave the table or no? He stays how does that work?
So he went up to get the gift from them. And when we were leaving later that night, I asked how he would spend it. He told me he wasn't going to spend any on me, just on himself. And I was like, okay.
Of course, he's going to spend the money on himself. From what it sounds like, he's already spent way too much on you. When I think about it, I don't believe the text between the two of them when he promised her to give half of his raffle winnings if he wins, and her saying haha in response. I don't believe it's a binding contract, to be honest with you guys, but what do you think? Do you think she has a case and she's going to win? Please put it in the comments below, and let's go back.
But you
You're
promised.
referring to your half, right?
Yeah. I was like, but you promised to give me half of that. And
And what did he say?
he said,
That was before I won, Toots. Basically, right? What did he say?
he told me that he didn't mean it and it was a joke. But to me,
Well, didn't you think it was a joke when you answer haha?
well, I thought it was an odd thing to do when I asked for more in a relationship.
Because you can have a perfectly free evening and have it be emotionally rewarding. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Like if there's effort, you don't have to
But I
spend the
started
money.
taking less time off my work just so I could spend more time with her. That's why it's bigger than just the attention of it. It was more for the money, and that's what it's always felt like for me.
Right.
So that's why it wasn't just, I didn't know I was going to win, but that was like a cherry on the cake that she was in it for the money. Because instantly she starts bragging to everybody, oh, look, I'm going to spend this on earrings, I'm going to do all of this. And it's like, I was just joking. I mean, I know I texted it to you, but it was a joke. And you replied saying, ha ha.
All right, let's talk about some advice that I want to give you. All right, we're all entitled to want what we want. And if what you want are fancy dinners and a lot of attention, you're entitled to hold out for that. I'm here to testify that after 8 months, sometimes it's not as much as it was in the beginning. And that's part of a relationship, and the growth in a relationship is that you don't feel the pressure for that kind of stuff, because there's this easy rapport that happens between you, and the fun stuff happens in between the expensive dinners. When you want more attention, then you ask for more attention. Attention doesn't just come from fancy dinners, okay? And if you are in a relationship where you feel that it's all about the money, get out. Get out, you know, because that's not a sustainable thing. Get out before you win the lottery, though. And so what we have here is, you want me to enforce a contract because he made what you perceive to be an enforceable promise. Okay. A contract typically is what we call in the law quid pro quo. I give up something, you give up something. I'm going to give up $2,000. You're going to fix my roof. So I give up money, you give up your labor. That's our contract, right? But when a guy says, I'll tell you what, if I win the raffle, you can have half, and you say, ha ha, not so much. Not so much. So it's a good thing that you guys figured out that this isn't the right relationship for you, that you didn't waste more time before figuring that out. It may be like creepy and mean and wrong in your eyes, but it's not legally enforceable in a court of law. And therefore, I'm ruling in favor of the defendant.
To me, it sounds like a typical case of the relationship that should have ended a long time ago, but for some reason, both of them decided to stay in this miserable relationship. Neither of them were happy. It sounds like he was looking more for a partner in life, and she was looking for expensive dinners. Obviously, they have very different goals in life, and I don't believe they're a good match for each other. As I said earlier, I don't believe the text messages between the two of them were a binding contract. She didn't give up anything. It was just a promise, and yes, he did say it, but just it feels like to get her off his back, because she kept pressing for expensive restaurants, dinners, and wine. I personally think the only reason she brought up emotional support in court so she doesn't look so needy. What did you guys think about this case? Do you believe that the judgment was right, or do you think she should have won the money that he promised to her? Please put it in the comments below, and thank you for watching.